Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Sportsline. We had a lot happening this week with LaSalle Sports. Just kidding, it's April Fools. I got everyone. This is Sports Talk. It is not Sportsline. It is April Fools. Just want to throw that in there. We have a huge episode today, obviously, talking about Andrew Painter's debut. We have the big three at the Sixers active now. We have so much to get into in today's episode. Let's get right to it.
Probably try to Rockefeller hover. Down go to war like a soldier, yeah. Plus they tried to count me out thinking that it's over. But I got to fight, Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I got to fight like Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I got to fight, Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I got to fight like Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa with the fight, yeah, I got to fight, yeah,
Hello everyone, welcome back to Sports Talk. I am Brayden Knapp, your host, joined by a full set of panelists here today. Here on my left, Chris Gress. How we doing?
Doing good.
Definitely. You're on my left. Oh, down the line, Tyler Farmer. He's got a little hat on, I see.
Yeah, went to the Phillies game last night. Ready to talk about AP 2-4.
Definitely, AP. And over on the end, Jaden, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Can't wait to talk about the great painter.
Definitely. Well, let's get right into it. I mean, let's talk about our Phillies. It was awesome because not only did the Phillies get a win against the Nationals, but the whole the whole crew of Sports Talk were able to go to the game and enjoy a great win with the Phillies. But not only that, it was Andrew Painter had a strong debut in his 3-2 win, but as we call him, AP 24, as Tyler likes to call him. Painter had a great game. He had 4 hits, 8 strikeouts, 0 runs allowed in 5 innings. Although it was a little bit up and down to start the season, they have now finished 3-3 just with the recent close win against the Nationals here Here in the last game, they actually won 6-5 in extra innings, so they are now 3-3 instead of 2-3 on the year. So, Chris, let's talk about this Phillies so far. I mean, great game yesterday. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah, you said it best when you didn't misspeak when you said cast. We are a big cast of characters, but as far as the game went, Andrew Painter was just money. I mean, this was a long time coming. He was supposed to make the team almost 3 years ago at this point. Like, there were some quotes out of that 2023 spring training of JT Realmuto saying how impressed he was with Painter, how poised he was, but then Tommy John surgery derailed him and he was out for a bunch of years, and then he was working back from it last year in AAA, and everyone was kind of panicking like, oh, he wasn't that good in AAA, like, is he going to translate, is he going to figure it out? And it was only one start, but he made a lot of people look a little silly last night, going 5 innings, 8 strikeouts, and the 4 hits. I mean, the one hit he gave up honestly shouldn't have been a hit. It was Bryson Stott kind of lost it in the lighting. That was a weird play, but yeah, Painter was great. It was good to see Adolis Garcia get his first home run, Schwarber to get a home run, but yeah, for our game specifically, that was a great one, and gladly Justin Crawford walked it off today for them to win the series.
Definitely. Tyler, I know you enjoyed the game the other night. How do you feel?
Yeah, first off, I think because we were at a panel before the game, we need to shout out my guy who asked about the starting salary for being the Phillies mascot. We gotta shout my guy out, because this man went straight to, is the job open? What's the salary? Like, my man was ready to negotiate. So we gotta shout my guy out, because that took a lot of courage to say that. I got nothing but respect for that guy. But in terms of the game, though, it was a great game to see. It was great, really, to see Andrew Painter's debut play so well. We all know how tough it can be, especially your first start, not just as a pro athlete, but in this city and under these conditions. It was really good to see him come out and have such a strong debut. And then Duran, the way he closed, I mean, that was a great close as well, so shout him out as well. But just a great atmosphere and a great game, and it's always good when the Phillies win.
Definitely, it really was. And seeing Duran's walk out in person finally, I mean, that's something. I feel like everyone's got to see that in person at least once. Going to you, Jaden, how do you feel about the Phillies' last game? What they got going on?
It was great, honestly. Like, that was the most Phillies game you can get. A Schwarber bomb, you saw Duran, you could see the debut of Andrew Painter. Like, that was an amazing game for us to go to, and I think that was just a fun experience. And also, I think that the Phillies are like starting to find their groove now, which is unfortunate because Bryce Harper started off really slow, like way slower than we thought he was gonna, especially since he just did so good in WBC. So I think he did pretty solid today. So I think that he's on the rise, and same thing with JT Realmuto.
It was nice to see Harper at least get that home run today to help him win, because it was a little slow start there. It's like, what are we doing? And same thing with the other guys a little bit on the top of the order. I mean, Trey, he was doing his thing. It's just, we were like, can we get going a little bit quicker than they have? But, I mean, baseball's a long season. But let's talk about some other guys we touched on a little bit. I mean, Justin Crawford, the other young gun. We talked about AP, the painter, how good he's been. But Crawford out in center field, I mean, he's been really good. Chris, I know you've been enjoying to watch Crawford.
Oh, yeah, he's been incredible to watch. It was awesome to see. And it just makes you wonder, like, why didn't the Phillies just call him up last year? I mean, he was hitting .330 in AAA. I know they traded for Harrison Bader, and he ended up being awesome for us, but, weirdly maybe didn't have to make that move. I mean, he had Justin Crawford in the minors. I know it's only been 6 games, but he's hitting over 400 to start. He's looked really better than advertised in center field as well. So that's a great note to see. Really like what I've seen from Crawford. And that people talk about running it back. And yeah, they brought back a lot of the same guys, but Justin Crawford, Andrew Painter, Adolis Garcia, none of those guys were on the team last year. And all 3 of them made, pretty immediate impacts right away. I mean, Garcia's been incredible. It's just a breath of fresh air to watch somebody in right field who can actually get to a tough ball and won't swing at a slider that's 15 feet off the plate every time he's up. So really enjoyed what I've seen from Garcia, and especially Crawford. It's just the youth has been great for the Phillies so far.
They really have been. I'm glad you gave a little shout out to Garcia. I mean, he had a home run in the game we were at. It barely squeaked by, but it's still a home run. Doesn't matter. He played great, and I agree, out there in outfield. I mean, he's fun. Besides that one little silly play, I forgot that one. I think a lot of Philly fans know what I'm talking about. The one where he just kind of fell over and tried to be funny and catch it. Besides that little happy accident, there was nothing really, I guess, to complain with Garcia. He's been great. Now let's go into the upcoming series. They just finished out their series against the Nationals. Now they go to face Colorado in Colorado against the Rockies. Then they follow that West Coast field trip with going to San Fran for 3 games. Then they come back to play the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, these should be an interesting couple games. I mean, going against the Rockies here, that should be fun. It is the opening day for the Rockies, but it's the Rockies. The Rockies actually went out and beat the Blue Jays, but I mean, Tyler, I don't think this is going to be at least whole much competition for this first game, but what do you feel about the rest of the games?
Yeah, I mean, look at 2 of the 3 series that they have coming up next. Should definitely be winnable series against the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. The Giants are going to be tough. For the Phillies, it's just, I'm not too concerned about wins and losses at this point, because it's just, you've played 6 games and you still have over 150 games left to play. So, you're just no team looks like in midseason form right now. So I think over these next few series, as long as you see the Phillies improve, specifically for me, for their hitting, as long as I can kind of see that get better, I'm not necessarily too concerned about 3-0 this series, 3-0 that series. Just as long as you can continue to get better at this point in the series, at this point in the season, I mean, that's kind of the priority right now for me.
It is still very early. It's such an early season. Jaden, going to review, what do you feel as though the Phillies need to do going these next couple games?
What I want to see is them win the series against the Giants, because this is a big thing that they really aren't the best against the Giants and San Fran. So if they can really just beat that series, I have great faith in the rest of the season. Honestly, that's going to let me know where the Phillies are and compared to everyone else.
I agree with you 100%, because the Giants are a very good team. We just talked about Bader. Bader is on the team. But that would be a really good test to see, at least early on, where will the Phils sit. So now let's get away from the Phillies. Now let's get into our Sixers, who the band is back together. Would you believe it? Oh, my goodness. PG, that guy, Embiid, Maxey, all on the court together for the first time in 2 months. That's amazing. And staying positive a little bit, they are 6-4 in their last 10. And needing a doctor a little bit, because Nurse's coaching blunders have been killing the Sixers, and especially against the Heat game. Now let's get right into it. The Sixers, well, I mean, on the positive side, the big trio is back. Is that necessarily the best thing? I don't know. Chris, how do you feel about that? I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, with all of them back, it's obviously a plus because if you get into a playoff series and the Sixers, they're probably going to be between like the 6 to 8 seed, I would say, just depending on how these next few regular season go. If you're the Pistons or the Knicks or the Celtics, even one of these top teams, and in the first round, you're going to have to go against Joel Embiid, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and whoever they want to put at the fifth starter, whether it be Barlow or Oubre. I mean, that's a pretty dangerous starting four there. I mean, especially with Embiid. I mean, we had to see Paul George in a Sixers playoff series. We know he can shrink a little in the playoffs, but overall this year, I mean, I really, outside of the suspension, I mean, Paul George, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, his defense has been superb. He's been shooting the ball a little better. That game against the Heat was tough, though, overall, just dropping it, and a team that's really close to us in the standings. A game they probably should have had because it was just back and forth the entire time. But overall, I mean, especially compared to last week, even 2 weeks ago, I'm feeling way better about the Sixers, and playoff basketball is looking like it will return to Philadelphia.
I like it. Tyler, you sharing that a little bit, or how do you feel?
I'm glad Chris has this just positive, just kumbaya, blessed thou the Lord Jesus nonsense with this team because, after watching them Tuesday night, it's just like every single time this team gives me a little bit of hope, they pull some foolishness that just and I only blame myself at this point because I'm old enough now to understand that outside of the Dallas Cowboys, this team might be one of the biggest teasers in all of American sports, and I continue to fall for it because when I look at what happened Tuesday night, I'm first thinking about why was Paul George, who has been playing well, Chris, as you pointed out, why is it that in a game that kind of felt like a playoff game, why was he sitting on the bench twiddling his thumbs with 2 minutes left to go? And then before that, you wasted a timeout on a challenge that you didn't, on a call that really wasn't worth challenging. You lose that timeout. Miami starts getting hot, and then you can't call a timeout because you only have one left, and you have to save that timeout. And then by the time you call that, Tyler Hero hitting threes in your face, it don't even matter. This game's over. And it's just like, as talented as this team is, and when I look at the starting lineup, of course, I would be nervous if I was the Knicks or the Celtics because of the sheer talent in the starting lineup. But the coaching is what's going to do the Sixers in again come playoff time. So, and when it comes to a well-coached team like the Pistons or the Knicks, I'm not worried about the Sixers because we have Nick Nurse putting us on life support.
That is, unfortunately, you share that opinion with a lot of Sixers fans, and I agree with that a little bit too. There's a lot of conversation. Is Nick the guy, especially is he the guy to take you to that next level? I don't know. Jaden, how do you feel? Nick Nurse, or at least the Sixers in general right now?
I don't like the Nick Nurse right now. I thought he was going to be a good addition once he got hired, but then he's just been plummeting, and the fact that the whole coaching staff or coaching for the past 8 years for the Sixers, except for 2019 when Jimmy Butler was on the team, has been really bad. So that's something that management has to get up with. But unlike what Tyler said, I would not want to play the Celtics. I think the Celtics are going all the way to the finals for the East, right? So if I'm the Sixers, I'm avoiding the Celtics at all costs. Even if they're going to the play-in, the Celtics are probably going to be the 2 seed, right? So it sucks that they're the 7th seed. They might be the 7th seed, right? So I would not want to play the Celtics. So this is a rough patch for the Sixers in general.
It is a rough patch, and because it's tough. It really is because they're playing better, and they have a team on paper that's okay, this is a playoff team, and if not a playoff team, that should be competing for something. Competing for a chip. But like what Tyler said, the false hope that this team likes to bring. It's every year with this. And honestly, I don't really want to buy into it either, because all of a sudden they play well a couple games, and then like the Miami game, as Tyler said, stuff happens. And to be honest, honestly, to the players' credit, I think the coach is kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. I don't think they're getting coached the best. And going in here, like let's talk about what's coming up here. Let's play with fire. They're currently the 7th seed, as we said. Top 6 is obviously guaranteed for a playoff spot. They're only 1.5 games back of the 6th seed. It's not bad, but in the Sixers, they only need 1 game to play in the tournament to clinch a playoff spot. But that's really what you want to be, as what Jaden said. You go play the Celtics. And there's not a lot of hope for me there. And I just don't know. You look at the next 3 games. They play the Wizards. It's the Wizards, so it's whatever. Then they play the Timberwolves and Pistons, which are games you need to win. It's something. Chris, I'm going back to you because we need some more positive with the Sixers here. What do you think they got to do, at least, maybe even coaching too? What do they got to do these next couple games to at least maybe get out of the playoff spot and get in?
It's a good question. And I mean, it's the age-old thing with this team every year is they just have to stay healthy. And I know it's not going to happen. It's the Sixers. That's not what Embiid does. It's not what even PG does. Maxi's good, but what they have to do is just get the continuity together with these last few games, because just what is going on right now, Embiid's still playing really well. Maxi's Tyrese Maxey, and Edgecombe's probably going to be first-team All-Rookie. You just need to keep building the chemistry, the cohesion with these guys, because once it comes time for the playoffs, you're going to, the chemistry usually wins out. It's the reason the Celtics have been so successful, because they keep running Jaylen Brown and Tatum and these similar guys, and that's why, it pains me to say this, they're just a better-run organization than the Sixers, and that's why they always have our number in the playoffs. But I will say, if Embiid if we just get that one healthy Joel Embiid playoff run, with how wide open the East is, with Cade Cunningham with a collapsed lung, with all these teams having issues of their own, I don't know. If there's any year they're going to try to make a run, it's got to be this one.
It's just the thing is, I feel like we just keep saying that, and I don't know. The things I completely agree, because especially the East Coast. We've been talking about this the whole year. Everyone's been talking about how open the Eastern Conference is this year. It's just, can they stay healthy? Will they be coached enough to stay healthy? There's a lot with the Sixers, and that is all the time that we have to talk about our Sixers, unfortunately. So now let's get into our Flyers talk. Now let's talk about the defense ducking wreck. 3-game win streak, unfortunately, has been halted in a 6-4 loss to the Caps. 4 goals were surrendered in 3 previous games. There is, of course, though, still a chance for the wild card. They're only 2 points back in the wild card fight, and their next game is April 22nd versus the Red Wings. So, talk about Flyers a little bit, who have been another team that we've been talking about, a little roller coaster on the year, a little back and forth. But they do have a win over, as you guys can see. We have against Dallas, they did win 2-1. It was unfortunate, the little loss they had to the Capitals, but other than that, they've been moving in a positive direction. Would you say, Tyler?
Yeah, they've definitely been moving in a positive direction. I don't think we can be too upset with the way they've been playing. They're 8-3 in their last 11 games, which is pretty darn good. You can't really ask for a whole lot better. I definitely think just because of the last loss to the Capitals and just kind of seeing the struggles of the defense rear its ugly head again, it's kind of disappointing to see that. But I think when you look at the bigger picture over the last few games, this team has definitely played a lot better. And I think that at the very least, even if they don't make the playoffs, that there's something positive that they can carry into next season as they look to hopefully by next year really take that next step and be a contender.
Definitely. Jaden, how do you feel about the Flyers? What do you got going on right now?
Well, beating the Stars was a highlight, right? I didn't even expect that, right? But then I feel like that's they were so on a high right there that they just sort of collapsed the next game, right? And giving up 6 goals, which is something you can't do in hockey. You just gotta have the defense there, which is the thing all year: defense, right? So being so close to the playoffs, I feel like this team knows what they have to do, and they performed well against the Stars. That's what they need to be every game, just like how they were against the Stars. Just run that type of scheme and run that mentality every game. This team would be in the playoffs.
They really would, and it's unfortunate because I mean, Chris, we talk about this a lot. There's so much potential, and especially firepower with this Flyers team. It's just they're maybe just not there yet, but I mean they're close to a wild card team. What are your thoughts on where
They really are, and I feel like it's been a loop with us with this for the Flyers this whole semester. With they just have to be more consistent, but they have been. As Tyler mentioned, they've 8-3 in their last 11. Capitals game was rough, but yeah, overall they really have been playing some really good hockey. Owen Tippett's been awesome. Big shout out to Porter Martone, who made his debut. Grew up a big Flyers fan. He had a really nice outing in his debut as well. But yeah, they're right there, and they've been right there the entire season. I hope Tocchet can get the boys fired up and have them just finish strong down the stretch, because playoff hockey also would be electric back here and in sync with the Sixers.
I mean, that would be huge, wouldn't it? Because I don't think anyone's really expecting the Flyers to win. And if they get the Flyers, you shouldn't expect that. Like, they don't have the team, unfortunately. But to at least take that next step and at least have this team get experience in the playoffs and start learning what it is like to be playoff hockey, because they have not been in the playoffs in a minute. So just at least get back there. I know all of Philadelphia. I mean, I think everyone would be happy if the Flyers got back there. And they have the talent. Porter Martone, as you just said, made his debut. They have a lot of young guys who are coming up. It's just, can they please just get over that hump a little bit and hopefully get some experience with the playoffs? But that is all the time we have to talk about our Flyers. Let's get into one of our favorite segments, and that is Philly First Take. Couldn't talk there. Now let's talk about our Final Four. That's championship predictions for March Madness. March Madness is unfortunately coming to an end. It was amazing this year. So many upsets and great things. As always, it's March Madness. But let's talk about it. We have our Final Four. It is Illinois versus UConn. I don't think a lot of people had that. And then we have Michigan versus Arizona, the 2-1 seeds, which both very good teams. So I'm going to keep to the panel here, guys. How did we feel about March Madness Final Four?
Oh, we're looking good. I mean, when we talked about our predictions last week, I had Michigan. Michigan is playing Arizona, and I don't know. In a weird way, I feel like that's going to be the title game. I think those two teams are, like, hyperbolically, because the Michigan and Arizona, I think, are the two best teams left. Both those teams have a bunch of guys that are going to be first-round picks. UConn and Illinois, good stories, good for them. I mean, the fact that UConn came back and beat Duke the way they did on that shot from Mullins right across half court was just unreal. I know we all were in disbelief watching that, but still feeling good about Michigan. Still think Michigan's going to win, but pass to Tyler. What does Tyler think?
I mean, we were in disbelief, and Jaden was popping bottles because, like, we know he was ready. We know he was happy to see. We know Duke was going down, and he was happy to see that. To me, it almost feels like the real national championship is Michigan and Arizona, because those are the two best teams left. And I think that game kind of, like, it almost reminds you of, like, the NFC championship with the Rams and Seahawks, which just felt like the winner of that game was who was going to win the Super Bowl. And I feel like the winner of Michigan-Arizona is going to be a team that wins the national championship. Not to say I don't care about the other game, but I just feel like the two best teams going at it in the Final Four are Michigan and Arizona. I'm going to go with Michigan, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona pulls it out. It's going to be a great game.
Okay. Well, like you said, I was happy when UConn made that shot. I was like, yes. And like y'all said, if Arizona versus Michigan was the championship game, nobody would be upset, because that's an amazing game. But with that being said, let's go UConn. Let's go. I'm going UConn all the way. They upset Duke. They can upset the winner of Michigan or Arizona. So, Nebraska's out. Let's go UConn.
I'm still annoyed Nebraska's out, but whatever. They had no chance making it. That was a fun story in March Madness. I know we'll remember. But I do agree with you guys. I mean, Michigan, Arizona, the winner would probably go there. But I mean, as Jaden said, UConn. I mean, you can't sleep on either of these teams, UConn or Illinois. But you got to give a shout out to Illinois to get here. Are you kidding me, man? I did not have Illinois getting here. And honestly, there was a little bit part of me that wants to put them over UConn. Honestly, I don't really. Honestly, if I had to put money on it, it would probably be UConn. But low key, there's just something telling me that Illinois that could maybe squeak by there against UConn. But I think it's going to be the winner of the Michigan-Arizona game. Who do I think that's going to be? I don't want either of these teams to win, to be honest. But Arizona looks really like they have a really good firepower. But I think as a team collectively, mean, you guys can say if I'm wrong, but I feel like as a team, Michigan probably collectively looks better as a whole. Would you guys say?
Yeah.
I mean, at least they work well with each other, they pass the ball, and they shoot the ball really well. It just seems as though, even though this Arizona team is insane, I don't know who's stopping this Michigan team. I don't want Michigan to keep winning in every sport, but like, what are we gonna do? And I think all we got. We want to talk about the next one.
Get into our next
Let's talk about, unfortunately, our next one. There is some controversy in the NBA world, and that is with guard Jaden Ivey. Unfortunately, there's been some comments he's made that, unfortunately, just are not the best. He's now been released by the Chicago Bulls. Yeah, we'll kick it over to Jaden. Jaden, really want to talk about this. Kick it over to him.
Okay. I think the Jaden Ivey comments were very wrong. And everyone's pointing it to his faith. And I think there's something wrong with that. That the fact that his faith is not, this is not what faith is. This is not, everyone's pointing to Christianity. Christianity is not that. That everyone is pointing to his hate being his faith. That's what the issue is. The fact that they're saying all this when clearly Jaden Ivey is not there mentally. Like he had so many things wrong with him beforehand. Like he said he was dealing with depression. He said his wife's not talking to him anymore. There's a lot going wrong for him. So I feel like a lot of people need to stop pushing the narrative that it's Christianity and that's his faith. No, it's something wrong with him. Somebody has to check him out. So I feel like that's the thing that everybody needs to go and do.
I agree with you. I think anyone that has seen the spam of videos, because I think there's multiple videos that Jaden Ivey has put out there on the internet, you'd be like, okay, even if you would like agree with even like some of the things he said, you can tell like this guy is going through some things, and it's just we don't need this. Come on, guys, the amount of things that have happened, at least in the last year, and they're still gonna probably come out. We just gotta be together. We can't keep going with this negativity, especially no matter what group you are in or whatever. We're all human. We all are human. We all have to be with one. At least that's what we all should be. All love each other. But that is all the time we have on Sports Talk LTV. Please check our socials at Sports Talk LTV on X and Instagram. I know it'll be a crazy week of sports in Philly, and please stay tuned because there will be a lot to talk about next week.